We'll have a talk now on the meaning of the solstice by Jerry.
Greetings, everybody. So happy that you could join us today. The large is mirrored in the small, the universal by the particular, and the macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm. This is the way of nature, the radical unity of life, which is such an important teaching emphasized in the secret doctrine, is put before our eyes and minds at every turn in life. And so it is with the seasons and the mighty flow of cycles within which we live. The fathomless cycles of evolution and involution, manvantara and pralaya, this cosmic breathing into and out of manifestation, is mirrored in the yearly cycle. Of the four consequential quadrants of the year, it may be true that the winter solstice occupies the most pivotal position. As daylight recedes in length, every day shortens by increments from the fall equinox. There comes a point when the cycle reverses. The dialectic of the universe ignites a flame with the most gentle subtlety, initiating the birth of a new cycle, reminiscent of the birth of a universe. The very word universe, standing not so much for the bodies in space that we see in the night sky, but rather for one turn. Uni, one. Verse, two, to turn. Universe was the original Greek meaning of the idea. This archetypal pattern is reflected in the course of a single day of 24 hours and is repeated in the neighborhood of 20,000 times in the number of breaths a human being takes in and out over the course of those same hours. You see, as our teachers keep reminding us, we live in an allegorical world, surrounded by symbols and clues, hints and suggestions of the divine within and without us. The practical significance, the incentive of this cycle, if you will, is that every day is a new incarnation, which was kind of pointed to in the music we listened to at the beginning. It's a chance to start over, to start anew, to endeavor to move towards to light, march towards the spiritual sun, if you will. The solstice represents birth, beginning, and renewal. Lead, kindly light. One step's enough for me, says the wise Cardinal Newman in his poem. Lightheartedly, it can be seen as Mother Nature's mulligan, a chance to try again after flubbing the first try. If seen properly, there's a bit of humor in all of this. We human beings can envision the ideal, feel its presence, imagine its possibilities, but we fall short. We just can't seem to grab the gold ring while going around the carousel. So we're given another try, and another, and another, and another. Is it an exercise in futility? Of course not, because it is an exercise in growth, learning, and improvement, and you might say experimentation. Evolution marches on incrementally, little by little, like the tree. If it be true that we are beings of infinite potential rather than cowering sinners, then that potential can never be fully realized. But the point is to try. The world needs us to try. Can there ever be enough love and compassion in the world? No. Can there ever be enough patience and civility? Of course not. But there should be more. And this new trip around the sun that we are about to embark upon tomorrow provides us with just that opportunity. It is best not to dwell on the failures and shortcomings that we might experience in life. There is an insidious trend of our times to meditate on the negative, Sure, the wise soul learns from their mistakes, honestly appraises without editing, sets high standards and struggles to realize them. Holding oneself accountable is a sign of spiritual maturity. But it can be done and must be done in the right way. We have to detach ourselves from the personal nature and look at it through our higher nature. Our review should be to improve the personal nature, not to castigate it. This requires some detachment, some critical distance from that part of us that's in the world. How much good can we bring into the world? The student of Theosophy is obliged to emphasize hope. Theosophy is the philosophy and psychology of hope, one might say. Why? Because of that infinite potential that we all possess. Because we have a divine origin. Because of the society of sages who continuously present the teachings of the wisdom tradition again and again and again. As Shelley says in his inspiring poem, Prometheus Unbound, to hope till hope creates from its own wreck the thing that it contemplates. There is an illusion and perhaps even a slight degree of vanity in thinking that our times are harder or coarser than other times. For a select group or even nation, it may be true, but collectively it is not. Life is hard inherently. This is an important lesson that needs to be taught to children. Life is full of challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. The world is on fire, according to the Buddha, because we cling to things that are constantly changing. Therefore, the art of living requires wisdom, insight, courage, perseverance, and sacrifice. Theosophia is divine wisdom. It is the wisdom we need to steer our ships through the difficult waters of life. It is the wisdom humanity hungers for unconsciously. It is the wisdom we students of Theosophy aspire to. We share this wisdom by living it, and not by preaching or by shouting it from the rooftops. If our lives are animated by universal principles, through a recognition that we do not have a soul, but rather that each one of us is a soul, independent of all conditions, it will stoke the flame of our fellow man's aspirations. It has always been that way. The example set by the noble parent inspires the child to do likewise. The generosity of an unconditional friend provokes the desire to reciprocate. The curiosity of the young child awakens the sleepy mind of the adult. Example is the great provocateur. Let us make this year the best one yet in our endeavors to live for and as the self of all creatures. And let me complete this short talk with this wonderful and beautiful quotation from the Voice of the Silence that reads, "The light from the one Master, the one unfading golden light of spirit, shoots its effulgent beams on the disciple from the very first. Its rays thread through the thick, dark clouds of matter." Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry. So, with the inspiration that Jerry gave us, we will be able to make our own resolve for the new year. And instead of thinking about what we're going to do or not do, maybe we can consider that we can reflect the light, the same light that has been held up for us by the great teachers, that we too can lift a little of the weight from the hearts and minds of our humanity.